Hello, hello, hello. Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss about myringoplasty. So myringoplasty is a procedure used to repair a perforated tympanic membrane using a graft material. So as you know, there are various graft material which we can use. We're going to discuss those graft materials afterwards. Now what is myringoplasty? That just I told you. What is the difference between myringoplasty and type 1 tympanoplasty? So both are not the same. Myringoplasty should not be confused with type 1 tympanoplasty. In myringoplasty, we do not inspect ossicular chain, while in type 1 tympanoplasty, we do inspect ossicular chain. So what are the indications of myringoplasty? Indication is if you see a central perforation which is dry for a period of 6 weeks, then there we can do myringoplasty. Where we cannot do myringoplasty, where we feel there can be a ossicular discontinuity, ossicular disruption, or any squamous ingrowth, or if it is unsafe perforation, there myringoplasty is not advised. There we will do tympanoplasty and if required, mastoidectomy. So what are the contraindication for myringoplasty? Is active discharge from the middle ear, nasal allergy, otitis externa, as I told you before, ingrowth of squamous epithelium in middle ear, and when ear is dead, and children below 3 years. So what are the prerequisites? Now, central perforation, which should be dry for at least 6 weeks, then there should be normal middle ear mucosa. As I have told you, it should be intact ossicular chain and good cochlear reserve. Now, preoperatively, you will evaluate the patient properly and then we will consider for surgery. Now, see, this is the basic idea. This is the microscope. A surgeon is sitting, patient is lying down, supine position with head is turned to the other side. The operated ear is on your side and you will be operating. These are the different set of instruments. For your level, not that much required in detail. Now, what are the surgical approaches of myringoplasty? If we consider myringoplasty, tympanoplasty, or mastoidectomy, there are surgical approaches. What are the surgical approaches? Means the through which way, which approach you will go and do a surgery. For example, it can be either endomeatal, it can be end oral, or it can be post oral. So, what do you mean by endomeatal? You know, meatus. So, it is inside the meatus, that is endomeatus. End oral. If you consider this is the pinna, if this behind the oral, that is post oral, behind the pinna, post oral. End oral, this is the end oral. And endomeatal is inside, that is endomeatal. So now endomeatal approaches, this is Rosen's incision, as you can see it on a screen. This is the Rosen's incision. This is the tympanic membrane. This is handle of malleus. This is 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. You will take an incision like this, vertical incision, and then curvilinear second incision. This is endomeatal approach. What is end oral approach? Same way, you take a vertical incision and that you extend, where you extend till the tragus and the helix crust. If you see your pinna, this is the tragus and this is the helix. In between, you extend. So that is end oral. Post oral, as I have told you, behind the pinna. Post oral, 1 centimeter behind, as this is the, if you consider this is a pinna, this is post auricular sulcus. 1 centimeter behind that sulcus is the post oral till the mastoid tip. In children where they are of less than 2 years old, there the incision goes more horizontally, as you can show it in it. Now procedure is what? First we will give local anesthesia, then we will harvest a graft. Now which graft? There are various grafts. Temporalis fascia graft, where you can harvest temporalis fascia graft. If you are taking a post-oral incision, from the same incision you can harvest a temporalis fascia. How? This is the temporalis here. If you consider temporalis muscle and it gets inserted, and post-orally you can harvest temporalis fascia. If you consider the tragus as shown in the diagram, this is the pinna, it is a tragus. Just here you give an incision like this, and there is perichondrium. Perichondrium means what? Perichondrium, it is the outer layer over a cartilage. Chondria means what? Cartilage. So there is a layer, that is perichondrial layer, which we harvest. Now those were the approaches. Which are the approaches? Endomeatal, end oral, post oral. End oral, post is posterior to oral, post oral, end oral here. Endo, inside, endomeatal. Those were approaches. Now what are the techniques? Which are the techniques to do myringoplasty? So there are two techniques, underlay, overlay. Now the name itself suggests under. We are laying something, that is laying the graft under. Under what? Under the annulus. Overlay. We are laying a graft material which is not under the annulus, it is over it. So that's why we call it as overlay technique. Now underlay technique is simple and commonly used. It is ideal. Here graft is placed under the tympanomeatal flap. Okay, tympanomeatal flap. While overlay, here the graft material is inserted under the squamous layer of eardrum. What are the layers of our eardrum? Outermost is 3 layers. Outermost is epithelial, that is squamous layer. Middle one is fibrous layer, and inside most is endothelial layer. So now here I'll tell you. See, this is the underlay myringoplasty, where you can see in a first photo, that is a central perforation. Here, this is the incision which I told you, endomeatal incision. This is the flap, we elevate and we put a graft. That graft is put under the what? Under the annulus. So that's why it is called as underlay myringoplasty. Okay, under the annulus or under tympanomeatal flap. Okay, so this is how it looks. This is the perforation. After surgery, you see introp, and this is the graft. Post-operative care not important for you in much details. What is the advantage and disadvantage of underlay technique? It is very simple and easy, avoids extensive dissection, and ensures healing of trauma. So every procedure has disadvantages. Why? As we are putting the graft under the tympanomeatal flap, there is reduction of middle ear space. It is limited bed. Raw area is not much. 3-layer of formation of TM is unlikely. In anterior perforation, it is difficult. There can be blunting. Now this is overlay technique. As I have told you, we will approach is either endomeatal, endoral or postoral, and technique is here overlay. Underlay we saw, overlay technique. As I have told you, can you see this diagram? In this diagram, this is the perforation. Now what we do, we give an incision, endomeatal incision is given. We elevate the tympanomeatal flap. With that flap, we elevate the outermost layer, that is squamous layer also with it. So what will happen? It will look like this. We are elevating the flap and we are elevating this outermost squamous layer. So this is how. This is the flap with outermost squamous layer. In a diagram in C, you can see meatal flap with the outermost squamous layer is elevated. Now, as we have already harvested a graft, we'll put the graft over here, this area. In diagram D, you can see we are putting a graft over this. In diagram E, you can see a graft is placed. The perforation is not visible, but now we are repositing this squamous layer with the flap. Understanding? Here it was flap. We are elevating the flap. With flap, we elevated the outer layer over a tympanic membrane. So now whatever is seen in this diagram, see this is flap with squamous epithelium. But now this is the perforation. While here we can see a fibrous layer. Now here we are putting a graft. In diagram E, you can see graft is put and we are repositing. Same way, this is the diagram from your Dhingra. You can see in A, incision is given. This is the incision. We are elevating the flap. Now, elevating the flap with the squamous layer of the tympanic membrane. So this is, we have elevated. So here you can see a raw bone and temporalis fascia graft we have put, and then we are replacing the skin. Can you see this? So this was a perforation. Same way, this diagram is there in your book. So I'm explaining this also. This is the best way to understand tympanic membrane perforation. Then we are giving an incision. We are elevating the flap with outer squamous layer. We have elevated. Now we are putting a graft. In E, we have put the graft. And in F, after repositing the squamous with tympanomeatal flap, this is the final situation. See, now clinically, if you can see this photo, this is the handle of malleus, this is the perforation. And see, this is the perforation totally. This is the tympanic membrane. Can you see the remnant of tympanic membrane? Now we are giving an incision. We are elevating the outer layer, that is a squamous epithelium, and we are putting the graft, and then we are repositing, as I have shown in this diagram. Same way, this is clinical. So this is what myringoplasty, underlay overlay technique. Complications will be always there in both the technique. What will be complication in overlay? Blunting, epithelial pearls, and lateralization of the graft. What are the advantages? It is very important to see advantages and disadvantages. Here anterior recess can be visualized, anterior overhang can be drilled, middle ear space is not reduced. This is very important in perforation who are going anterior, where underlay technique is of not that much important. What are the failures of myringoplasty? There can be infection, surgical procedure technique is not proper, There can be graft resection, or there can be trapped epithelial cells. So these are not that much important for you. Various graft materials. So which are the various graft materials we use? You must have learned in microbiology: autograft, isograft, homograft, heterograft. Now what is autograft? Auto means what? Same person. Iso means what? Identical twins. Homo means what? The same species. And hetero means another species. We use autograft. Why autograft? Because there is no immunological reactions, it is inexpensive, and no risk of infection such as HIV or other infection. If we use iso or homo, there can be chances of immunological reaction, graft rejection, there can be risk of HIV or other infection. So we stick to autograft. So in a same incision, we try to do it, or through a small incision, another incision we can harvest. Like if we do a post-oral incision, we can harvest temporalis fascia graft from the same incision. If it is an end oral, from the end oral incision, we harvest a temporalis fascia graft. If it is endomeatal incision, you may harvest it from perichondrium. Okay, tragus, perichondrium. What are the types of autograft? Because they ask in exams, practical exams. These all surgical procedures are very important for practical point of view. So types of autograft. Auto means self. So that is autograft which we use. Temporalis. First one is what? Temporalis fascia, tragal cartilage or perichondrium. We can use vein. We can use fatty tissue from ear lobule, fatty tissue, fascia lata. We can use skin. We can use dura. But which are the more common? Why more common? Because they are convenient, rejections are less, and we can easily harvest them. They are temporalis fascia, tragal conchal cartilage, and fascia lata. So temporalis fascia advantage. What are advantages of temporalis fascia? We commonly use temporalis fascia. So what is advantages of temporalis fascia? Location of donor site, easy to harvest, low basal metabolic rate. What that means? Low basal metabolic rate means nutrition, it requires less nutrition, so high survival. Chances of rejection are less. No size limitation. It can be used as onlay, underlay, overlay, as I have told you. See, this is how it looks. Temporalis fascia. It is like a very thin, papery thing. Now, advantages of cartilage and perichondral graft. Cartilage or perichondral. See, I'll tell you what is cartilage. See, this is the cartilage where you harvest it from the tragus. If you touch your tragus, it gives a firm feeling. Okay, while you touch your elbow, that gives a hard feeling. That is bony hard. This is firm. This is a tragal cartilage. So we harvest this tragal cartilage, and if you can see on a diagram, this photo, this is a cartilage and this is perichondrium, as if it is a layer. Okay, perichondrial layer. Then here you can see. So what is importance? Some people use temporalis fascia, some people use perichondrial, some people use cartilage. So what are the advantages of cartilage and perichondrial graft over a temporalis fascia? It is more rigid, long-term survival, it is nourished by diffusion, and relatively resistant to infection. So what are the techniques? You just have to remember the name. not much in detail at your level. Island flap. What is the cartilage graft technique? Cartilage island flap. Cartilage shield technique. Palisade technique. I'll show you. This is shield technique. Shield means what? This is a handle of malleus and you put a cartilage. That is shielding. Palisade means what? You prepare a slices. Thin slices are prepared and you use those slices. That is cartilage palisade. See, this is the pinna. This pinna we can use and this cartilage we can use. This is a Simba concha. This is how palisade cartilage. This is in photo you can see this is a one cartilage piece, is another cartilage piece, and this is a third cartilage piece. This is how we do. This is the intro picture, and post-op you will be seeing like this. This is the post-op when it is healed. So this is the tympanic membrane previous. This is the cartilage which we have used. Same way, diagrammatic representation, one piece, second piece, third, fourth. So this is what palisade technique. What is butterfly technique? This is the butterfly technique. You take a cartilage piece, you make it a butterfly shape like this. You remove this portion so it will look like this, and then you use it. That is butterfly technique. You can use fat myringoplasty. Fat means what? It is a fat. If you consider your ear lobule, there is a fat inside it. You take a small incision, harvest that fat, and you can use for fat myringoplasty. Success rate may not be that promising. Skin graft we can use, but there are chances of infection, rejection, so better we avoid it. Vein graft also we can use. So the best graft material is what? Temporalis fascia we consider. Why? Because it is easy to harvest, size is not an issue, low basal metabolic rate, and you can use it for overlay, underlay, both techniques. You can tell in exam also temporalis fascia. Second, perichondrium or cartilage we can use. Okay. So this is regarding myringoplasty, which I told you definition and the difference between myringoplasty and type 1 tympanoplasty. Myringoplasty, we do not inspect ossicular chain, we just put the temporalis fascia graft or perichondrium or cartilage graft. So we put a graft material without inspecting ossicular chain. While type 1 tympanoplasty, ossicular chain is inspected. So we have learned about various graft materials, various techniques, various approaches. Approach for the myringoplasty, or maybe it is tympanoplasty, or let it be mastoidectomy. These are the only three approaches. Which are the endomeatal, end-oral, and post-oral. These are the three approaches. And what are the technique? Overlay technique and underlay technique. Okay, so this is how. So in next lecture we will discuss about tympanoplasty and in subsequent mastoidectomy.